It's another bad day and another big loss. We need the atheist movement now more than ever. Well, we lost again. We lost a big one today, and a lot of people, I mean, my goodness, have I ever felt like not a Republican in my life more than today? This week has been an eye-opening week for me, but this video is not about me, okay? This video is about what we lost. I will say, though, that this week has been an eye-opening week for me. I have been drifting so far to the right and looking at a lot of conservatives and as friends, and they're still my friends, but, we lost the separation of church and state so much this week, not just with abortion, but also with this decision as well, and as well as earlier this week. So let me talk about this school prayer case. It came down from the Supreme Court today. The Supreme Court ruled for a former coach in a public school prayer case. Okay, so this is a public high school case where the coach was basically praying on the 50-yard line, and all the kids were coming in to pray with him. It was school prayer. And that has just been determined to be not school prayer. It's just been determined to be freedom of expression, which is a huge defeat for everybody. I think it's a huge defeat for children in this country. I'll just read the article and go along with me. The Supreme Court ruled Monday that former Washington State high school football coach had a right to pray on the field immediately after games. The 6-3 ruling was a victory for Joseph Kennedy, who claimed that the Bremerton School District violated his religious freedom by telling him he couldn't pray so publicly after the games. Let me ask you something. Why do people pray publicly? Just think about this. Why do people pray publicly? Every God that's ever been invented can hear silent prayers. So why do people pray in public, even though Jesus told them not to? Well, it's because of recruitment. The reason he does this is not because to express himself. He does it to pull other people's children in and to legitimize religion in their mind. He is recruiting. He is proselytizing. He is using his position to do it. Let me read more. Both the free exercise and the free speech clauses of the First Amendment protect expressions like Mr. Kennedy's, Justice Neil Gorsuch wrote in the majority opinion. Nor does proper understanding of the amendment's establishment clause require the government to single out private religious speech for special disfavor. Yes, the Constitution actually says freedom of religion. It sections out religion different from speech, sir. It separates them out, different from speech, in the Constitution. The Constitution and the best of our traditions counsel mutual respect and tolerance. This isn't it. This isn't it. This is not them being tolerant of us. This is not them being good to us. This is them using their position to push religion on other people's kids. The Constitution, nor censorship and suppression for religious and non-religious views alike. Oh yeah, next time the coach gets up there and starts talking about Carl Sagan on the 50-yard line, I'll let you know. But that can't happen because there's so much religious pressure in this country that people are still feeling oppressed. This is going to increase that oppression. This is going to suppress atheism. This is going to promote religion, because what this does, this isn't about expression at all. This is about the ability of a person in authority to push religion on other people's children while their parents aren't there. That's what this is about. And that was just called freedom of expression. In recent years, a more conservative Supreme Court has been inclined to view government actions once it considered to be neutral and necessary to maintain separation of church and state as hostile to religious expression. I don't care. It's separated out. You have the freedom, but it's not speech. Religion is not speech. One issue in the case was whether the coach's decision to pray in such a problematic speech, I'm hiding this picture, I'm going to show you this picture, over the 50-yard line amounted to a private moment of giving thanks to public demonstration, which you can do in private, which you can do without the megaphone, which you can do without the stage, or of his religious faith that his players may have felt compelled to join. Do you think his players felt compelled to join? Do you think his players felt compelled to join? That's what it looked like. This is high school. Do you think his players felt compelled to join? If you're an atheist on that team, oh look, I don't see anybody not standing. Do you think the players felt compelled to join? In dissent, joined by two other justices, Stephen Breyer and Helena Kagan. Justice Sonia Sotomayor wrote that the court, by the way, I'm really loving her, wrote that the court consistently has recognized that the school officials leading in prayer is constitutionally impermissible. It has been. And she said the ruling did a disservice to the schools, the students, and the nation's longstanding commitment to the separation of church and state. She's right. We have lost so much in the separation of church and state. Today's decision is particularly misguided because it elevates the religious rights of the school official, over who voluntarily accepted his position. Check this out. This is a nice little twist. Who voluntarily accepted his position in public employment and the limits of public employment entails, which is true, over those of his students who are required to attend the school and who this court has long recognized as particularly vulnerable and deserving of protection. In doing so, the court sets us further down the perilous path of forcing states to entangle themselves with religion, with all of our rights hanging in the balance. So well spoken. We lost. We lost school prayer with this. Okay, we lost school prayer with this. If a high school preacher can do this, and it's not called persuasion, any teacher can. And that means our kids are going to get proselytized to in school again. We just lost the voucher system earlier this week. So what happened this week? We lost the vouchers this week. Remember, I did a video earlier this week about how now private school vouchers must include religious schools. So we're going to have public funding going to religious schools this week. And we're going to have school prayer. And that happened also this week. You may remember that the voucher case was a case of separation of church and state versus freedom of expression. And the voucher case put freedom of expression above the separation of church and state. This case did exactly the same thing. And so separation of church and state has been reduced. It's been lowered, even though it's a First Amendment right. We need an atheist movement now more than ever, even more than when I was involved in it, which is why I'm just shouting out to Atheists for Liberty in this video. Atheists for Liberty is the only atheist organization in America that is working on both sides of the aisle to preserve the separation of church and state for real. They're not woke. They're not doing the social justice thing. They're just doing the separation of church and state thing, and they're the only ones that are doing it. So please support them, but also please support the unification of the movement. You know, the left side of the movement needs to come together now. They need to stop fighting about wokeism, and they need to stop complaining about tiny little differences. There needs to be a reunification of the atheist movement so that you can fight this. You're going to need to fight it on the state level. And you're going to need to fight it all on the state level. We just lost a tremendous amount, folks. The schools are now being religious schools are now being funded, and the schools are now going to be proselytizing to your children. School prayer is coming back. So once again, I'm the bearer of bad news, but it's been a really bad news week. Please like, subscribe, and share this video. Spread it around. Make people understand that this was not a good thing. And we've had a really bad week for the separation of church and state. We've had a really bad week for religious freedom in this country. We've had a really good week for religious proselytization and Christianity. They've had a great week. We've had a really bad week. We need an atheist movement to come together and do this. We need an atheist movement to be empowered and unified and focused on atheist issues now. Dump the wokeism, dump the petty differences, talk to the left and to the right, work with Atheists for Liberty. Atheists for Liberty is doing great. Please donate for them. And thanks a bunch. Again, like, subscribe, and share. And I really want to hear what you have to say in the comments. So please do that. I want to see it. Thanks.